Her voice hit my ear like a knife dropped in water. Sharp, muted, sinking fast. "My card declined. They won't let us leave. Send me $3,000 right now." 2:03 a.m. The glow of my phone painted the ceiling in a pale, diseased blue. I stared at it longer than I listened. The silence between her breaths told me more than her words ever had. Club noise behind her, a male laugh. Too close, too comfortable. I felt nothing. Not fear, not jealousy. Just a quiet, measured click inside my chest, like a lock sliding into place. "Call your lover," I said, and I hung up. No anger, no explanation. I turned the phone face down and slipped back under the weighted stillness of the night. Sleep came quickly, deliberately, the way it does when you've already accepted a truth you haven't admitted yet. The police woke me at 7:11 a.m. "Sir, your wife listed you as her emergency contact." The voice on the other end sounded tired, overworked. I imagined the fluorescent lights, the metal benches, the smell of regret drying on cheap perfume. "Is she all right?" I asked. A pause. "She's being held, fraud charges, and disturbances." I closed my eyes. Not out of worry, out of confirmation. Everything I had suspected for months had finally tripped over itself. The truth always does. I got dressed slowly, chose a charcoal suit, polished shoes. The image of a man who controlled his world, even if the foundations had cracked beneath his feet. By the time I left the house, the sun had risen, and with it, something inside me had died. Something else had awakened. The first signs had been subtle, almost polite. Receipts she forgot to hide. Smiles that didn't belong to me. The sudden interest in night outings with friends from yoga she never named. I had been a CEO long enough to recognize when someone was negotiating behind my back. Real estate law taught me how people lie with signatures. Investment law taught me how they lie with silence. Marriage had simply taught me how they lie with their bodies. Still, I tried to believe her. Or maybe I tried to delay the moment I had to face the obvious. But the club call? That was different. The tone, the desperation, the entitlement. It didn't sound like a woman trapped. It sounded like a woman caught. And beneath that, a different fear. Not of the club, not of the bill, but of the man she was with. Her friend. The one whose name she never said, but whose shadow I had already noticed. On her clothes, in her late-night messages, in the way she exhaled when she thought I was asleep. At the police station, she wouldn't meet my eyes. She just whispered, "Please, please take me home." But something in her face told me she wasn't asking for safety. She was asking for time. Time to spin the lie. Time to make herself the victim. Time to rewrite history before I uncovered it. I didn't give her a single word. Just a nod to the officer, a signature on a release form, and the quiet certainty that I was done pretending. I didn't confront her, not once. I let her sleep in the guest room, let her imagine we were in a temporary storm, not the aftermath of a demolition. Meanwhile, I worked. Quietly, carefully. I pulled the statements from our joint accounts, cross-checked dates with her girls' nights, matched transactions with GPS pings she never knew synced to our home Wi-Fi. I reviewed club footage, case law advantages of being on retainer with half the city's commercial properties. Then came the phone logs. Deleted messages aren't truly deleted, at least not from the cloud backups she didn't know I controlled. The conversations weren't romantic. They were logistical. Times, hotels, payments. And then, one message stopped me cold. "He suspects nothing. I can clean him out and be done by summer." Clean me out? My wife? Planning her exit like a hostile takeover? I sat there for a long time, staring at the screen. My pulse stayed slow, steady. This wasn't heartbreak. This was strategy. I ordered DNA tests for certain timelines she had given me. I hired a forensic accountant, and each new piece of evidence didn't crush me. It clarified me. By the end of the week, I knew everything, and she suspected nothing. The DNA results arrived in a plain envelope. 2 sentences, a percentage, a truth she could never negotiate her way out of. She wasn't just unfaithful. She was living a double life built on my name, my money, and my blindness. When I walked into the kitchen, she looked up with that timid, fragile expression abusers wear when they think their charm might still work. "Can we talk?" she whispered. Instead, I placed the envelope on the counter and stepped back. She opened it. Her hands shook first, then her face, then the entire lie she had lived inside. "No, this can't be. This isn't." I said nothing. Truth doesn't need commentary. She crumbled, a slow, sinking collapse, like a building whose foundation had been quietly eroded. The silence between us was colder than any shouting could ever be. I slid a second document onto the counter, a divorce settlement, prepared by my law firm, structured with the precision of a scalpel. No assets, no claims, no protection. Her lover had already blocked her after the police incident. I had made sure of it, professionally, legally, quietly. She was alone before she even realized it. "You plan to clean me out," I finally said, my voice flat. I simply returned the courtesy. Her eyes widened. Fear replaced grief. Understanding replaced denial. You knew?" "I always know," I said. "Because I did. In business, in law, in marriage. People reveal themselves. Eventually." She signed the papers with trembling fingers. I watched her leave with one suitcase, the same way she had planned for me. The house felt lighter the moment the door closed. Not peaceful, not joyful, just correct. I made coffee, stared at the steam rising from the mug. A simple thought settled inside me, quiet and final. Some losses aren't losses at all. And as the last of her perfume faded from the hallway, I realized something even darker. I hadn't lost her. I had freed myself. The final line of my life with her was brutally simple. I didn't need revenge. The truth destroyed her for me.